You'd think something like this would be real simple. Basically, you just hit record here, you hit record on the phone, and you hit record over here to make sure that all your sound is basically synced up. But it's not so easy, Gareth Davies. It's not so easy. Or Davies. Davies, that's North American way to say. I don't even know how to pretend to be Welsh. So, Davies. This is for you, man. So this is the Tascam DR100iii. And you asked me to show basic handling noise on this bloody thing. So what I've done currently is basically have an external shotgun microphone, which is another Tascam, and that bad boy is putting its headphone output right in here into the extension input. Because this is about handling noise, first we're just going to touch this cable over here. Now this is, of course, this is going to indict how this unit isolates sound, how this cable isolates sound and everything, but we're just going to do this on I'm just going to rub this cable here. If you'll notice, there's not a lot of noise that's being transferred into this unit through this cable when I'm touching it on the side of the recorder. But when I touch it on the side of the microphone, there's a lot of touch noise. And down here, not so bad. Now let's touch the unit itself. Now that's not feedback that's coming from touching this unit. I believe that that's noise that basically is being picked up at the moment from the shotgun, which is supposed to isolate sound as much as possible to the front, but I think it's going to be picking up a little bit of noise from the side as well. I think that's the same thing. So it doesn't seem to be overt, doesn't seem to be too bad. I think that's overall pretty good. Okay, now we're just testing the Uni Mic. And as it's on the desk, the feedback should be quite minimal. However, let's tap right around where the Uni Mic is. These two here are the Uni Mics. The most feedback that I found with them is if you speak into them. So now what we're going to do is we're going to pick up the unit and we're just going to touch the unit. This sounds like feedback basically from the mics picking up the device. Wait, no, I should probably adjust the microphone just a bit. I'm going to put it at 26 decibels. I think that should be all right. So I'm touching the unit. The desk is small here. Touching the unit. As we get closer to the microphone, you can see this is the sort of sound you're going to get. Let's touch the guard. So far we don't have any flutter. We're not overpowering the mic amplifier, but we're getting quite a bit of feedback around there. When we touch down here, there is quite a bit. The Tascam is picking up a lot. So if you're going to be handling this in your hand, you're definitely going to have quite a bit of feedback from the Uni Mics, which are these two large diaphragm microphones here. Now, if we speak into them, this is where, I'm not sure if we're going to be able to see my face here, but I'm going to just, trust me on this, I'm actually talking into them. But you'll notice, of course, the voice is a lot clearer. However, you're going to have a lot of pop, 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 pop feedback here. So you definitely want to have some sort of pop filter in front of this thing. Otherwise, it's going to sound basically like this, which is, it's just too much. Also, any sort of, here I'm blowing into the microphone. Now you wouldn't normally be basically blowing into a microphone. And I've got this set at, like I said, 26 decibels, which the peaks of my voice will be picked up and possibly overload the thing. But if you're holding it back here, there's basically no way that's going to happen. And if I say pop, 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 there is still a little bit of flutter. If I put my hand in the way, pop, 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 as you'll notice, there's no more P flutter or overpowering from the plosives. So pop, 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 but you're not going to get the strong or the clear voice that you were otherwise. They're very high quality mics. I like the sound of them. In fact, they do well with my voice, which I don't know if it's nasally or not. Whatever it is, I generally like the sound of them. The thing is that they really do need to be protected in some way. And the problem with that is that then you change the sound of the microphone quite a bit. Now, let's go to the backside. The backside, we're going to talk right into the right channel right now. Pop, 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 pop. And maybe kind of touch it. Just going to move the unit around. So this is what it sounds like when you are holding the unit. If you hold it carefully, it's not too much, definitely. But hold it like this and you're not getting any sort of feedback on the mechanical unit itself from you touching it. Again, it just ends up being with how close you are, proximity to the microphones to overload them. and that happens pretty easy. So yeah, so there's quite a bit of feedback on the unit itself, but it's not horrible if you can just hold yourself solid like this. I don't see any problem there. But again, perfect holding is not the easiest thing to do, so who knows if that's good. Okay, we are now using the Omni microphone at the same setting, which is 26 decibels, and we're just going to touch around the microphone. These are the Omni Mics, these tiny ones here, and I believe this middle one here as well. So you have right channel, left channel, and you have a center. Now, this one seems to be picking up quite a bit more feedback from the unit itself when I'm touching like this. Touch the back of the unit. It's picking up definitely quite a bit. Even touching way down here. It's all of this noise is being transferred mechanically into this diaphragm here. All of it. So you can hold it very carefully like this, but just right now, if you notice, there's a creaking sound. That's just me barely touching this front plate with my thumb. Just barely. In order to get a good grip, I want to make sure that my thumb is around the thing, and that's definitely causing some trouble. So this unit is definitely not well damped mechanically against sound. And let's see how close we can get. Are we going to overload the microphone by plosives? The plosives are definitely not as bad on this microphone, on the Omni, but the sound is nowhere as good, of course. These are much smaller diaphragm microphones. All right, so we got the Shure here. I've basically set the volume down to, or not the volume, the amplifier setting to 35 or 36.5, 38.5 decibels. And so I'm talking right into the Shure. So this is kind of a test, I suppose, in a way, of the Shure and how it rejects plosives, etc., which is exemplary. It's one of the best sounding, well, one of the best rejecting and sounding mics I've ever used, actually. It's quite good. But how is it when we hold this microphone and then touch the cable? Is there sort of feedback that's going into the unit? I'm not noticing anything at the moment. I think the little flutter sound that you heard is basically just the microphone hearing me touch the cable quite a bit. But as you'll notice, I touch the unit. There's basically, I'm going to hit the lock on, by the way, here. If you hit the lock, then you don't accidentally get any sort of changes to sound, etc. So that's pretty cool. So I'm still just going to touch the unit as much as possible. Level hold is on, so got no problems there. With the extension mic, basically I'm hearing no feedback at all. It seems to be basically about as good as you're going to get in rejecting sort of noise. Certainly with this Tascam DR100 Mark III. So that way, definitely you're going to get the best sort of rejection of noise. And of course you're going to get the best sound because you can plug in a very high-end microphone, and the recording quality of this unit is very good in either 16-bit or 24-bit. Of course, 24-bit is the best way to record anything because you want to have as much control of the quality of the recording against playback. So yeah, anyway, I guess I'll probably try to sync all these microphones, the Shure, the Tascam here, and all these, and then of course the lavalier or clavalier or whatever you say. And hopefully this was helpful to you, Gareth Davies, as well as anyone else who's looking to see what the handling noise of the Tascam DR100iii is. Now the reason, I'm just going to go like this. The reason I've chosen the Tascam over some other units basically is that it has everything that you would need. You can do simultaneous recording from the XLRs, so you can get some sort of stereo effect, or you can have two singers. I'm not a musician. You can do very good binaural recordings from that using two separate microphones. Of course, you can, as long as you're careful not to overload the Uni Mics, you can also get very, very good binaural recordings using the Uni Mics. The Omnis aren't quite as good, but if you're just going to have, in some sort of loud environment, you just want to put this thing on a table and then record some sort of meeting, very, very good. You're not going to overload the mics too easily. They don't sound the best, and you are going to get a bunch of noise transferred into the unit, maybe from the table, etc. But you're also not going to overload the mics and get a lot of flutter, etc. Now, finally, you can, of course, use digital input. So basically, if you're a mini disc user and you've previously been using sort of digital inputs for your MIDI disc, but you want a higher quality recording, you can do it with this, and it's very, very good. The headphone output, by the way, is also good. I've done some tests. I have not done a full suite of tests, but basically it's high quality, as well as the line output for you to record anything like this and then spit it on to downstream, recorders, etc., is also great. I think, this unit is showing its age just a little bit, but overall, it's definitely one of the best ones I've used, and I think you're only going to get better with 32-bit float point recording devices at this moment, as well as maybe some of the newer Sonys. But this has got onboard battery, as well as you can get extension batteries in it. It's just very well thought out, and it has the typical Tascam sort of recording quality, which I've got 2 of these. I'm very, very happy with what Tascam do. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoy looking down at my table for this video. Look forward to looking down at the table for the next one. Cheers. Bye-bye.